We are going to speak about first the internships, and then we're going to speak about the privatizations, and then we're going to go into working groups. So I will give the floor to Kaylee Martin from the Uni head office.
Morning. I'm going to try and talk slow for a number of reasons. I'm sure you guys are still, well, many of you guys went out last night, so I hope you guys had fun, and I hope that the workshops today are still productive. As you know, I'm Kaylee Martin, and I'm an intern at Uni Global Union at their head office in Nyon, Switzerland, and I've been supporting the Uni Europa Youth Steering Committee on a number of projects since October of 2013. One of those projects has been the organization of this next workshop session. And as an intern myself, since July, I've had an obvious personal connection to the issues surrounding internships, issues which the Uni Europa Youth Committee also feels must be addressed head-on by the trade union movement. In February of 2013, at the conference in Portugal, Uni Europa Youth adopted an action plan and a resolution calling on the steering committee to establish a close link with the European Youth Forum and to promote the European Charter on Quality Internships and Apprenticeships. Today, I'm really excited to report that we have Ms. Alex Mason, the Head Youth Policy and Advocacy Officer of the European Youth Forum Secretariat, here with us to introduce the Quality Charter and to explain how it has been successful at bringing about the principles that it sets out. In addition to Ms. Mason's presentation and participation in the upcoming workshop discussions, our report back today will include a formal endorsement of the Quality Charter by the Uni Europa Youth Group, as well as Uni Europa, the regional office, which we're really excited about. Our president, Lee Fishwick, is prepared to sign on behalf of us all both the Quality Charter and a Memorandum of Understanding, which we'll have posted for you on the Facebook group. And I believe Ms. Mason has brought some copies as well for you all to look at. So do read that and take a look if you have time. And Lee's signature is going to symbolize the dedication of Uni Europa Youth to the principles set out in the Charter, as well as prepare us for a new chapter in the trade union movement of young workers, one with Uni Europa Youth as a leader in the fight for quality work training opportunities for all aspiring young professionals and tradesmen. However, before we hear from Ms. Mason and then break into our groups, which we hope will be a productive solution-generating session, I want to give you all a glimpse of the movement from the perspective of interns as it's been unfolding in Geneva, where I'm currently doing my internship. The Geneva Interns Association, also known as the GIA, is the largest nonprofit organization representing interns from all over the world who come to work at the plethora of international organizations, businesses, and enterprises based in Geneva, Switzerland. The GIA was formed just 2 years ago by a handful of interns from a variety of agencies of the United Nations. The GIA has quickly grown and now has nearly 7,000 members on its Facebook group. It's estimated that roughly 2,000 interns come through Geneva on average per year, and that number is quickly rising. Working as an intern in Geneva means being off the labor market full-time, often working hours, long hours to demonstrate their passion and commitment for their employer, and often doing the same work or else the work that is less prestigious as their fellow coworkers with regular employee contracts and their immediate supervisors. Yet they work with less than a fraction of the salary, if they get any form of salary at all, or stipend, without the same recognition of contributions that they make, except when problems or mistakes arise. Interns travel from far away to have the opportunity not only to learn the necessary skills for international human rights work and policy making, but also to network with the big players and get their foot in the door. They come expecting that the reputation of the organization they work at is all it will take to launch their career. But often it's just enough to land them another internship, one that hopefully pays. However, the problems facing interns do not stop at a livable stipend, getting a good reference, or getting into the right social networks. Interns do not have workplace representation. They're excluded from staff councils, syndicates, collective bargaining agreements, Many of them are not even presented with a formal contract at the commencement of their work training program. And often the contracts they do receive fail to provide them with any benefits or perks that other employees enjoy, like language lessons or help obtaining phone contracts or getting that private parking place, right? Because that's what we all have, right? No, I'm just kidding. In some, they don't get recognition for doing real work or as having the same responsibilities as an employee, even though they are generally held to the same standards of professionalism, expertise, and confidentiality. The GIA was formed to address the many issues facing interns, and it has multiple roles for serving the diversity of needs of its members. The GIA acts as an umbrella organization connecting all workplace intern groups across Geneva and uniting all interns from all sectors. The group believes that connecting interns with people, services, and events in Geneva is essential for a meaningful work training experience and for reducing the high cost of living in Switzerland. By serving as a platform for communication amongst interns, both in Geneva and the rest of the world, information sharing leads to better organized events, bigger initiatives, and stronger campaigns for defending the human rights of interns themselves. In this way, the GIA is able to enhance the overall work training experience and network growth in the ways that means the most for its members, as aspiring young professionals. So in addition for advocating for fair pay for all interns, one of the long-term visions of the GIA is to get all employers in Geneva to sign the European Youth Forum Charter on Quality Internships and Apprenticeships. Interns in Geneva recognize the need to take action collectively in order to support young people's rights to fair employment practices. In this way, the Quality Charter could be a very helpful tool for informing, organizing, and giving power to a vulnerable, precarious workforce. So, without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Ms. Alex Mason from the European Youth Forum.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much, Katie, for the very nice words. I'm very happy to be here. As Katie knows, it was a bit of an acrobatic experience to get me here, but we felt that, first of all, we were extremely happy and privileged that Uni Global Europe was willing and interested to cooperate with us on this charter. And also because, well, this is part of what we do to actually be in contact with all the youth movements active across Europe. Maybe what I'll do before I start my presentation on this charter, I'll quickly introduce the European Youth Forum, because I'm not really sure that you are all familiar with who we are and what we do. So the European Youth Forum is the only platform, sector platform representing youth and youth organization and youth movement at the European level. We are present across the whole pan-European continent, so from Iceland to Azerbaijan, more or less, and from Norway to Malta or Cyprus, depending which one you prefer. And overall, through our 100 organizations, we represent more or less 10 million young people. The two types of organizations that we have, and then I'll stop here, are national youth councils and international organizations. National youth councils are themselves platforms of youth movements, organizations, elements at the national level, and international organizations are organizations like yours, basically. Any type of organization, from the trade union movement to the Scouts to the Red Cross to the youth organizations doing exchanges, or school students in general. We work on a number of issues affecting young people today, and issues where we want to see a change. They are all led by one major principle for us, which is the rights-based approach. We are striving for youth rights, and this is what is underlying all our actions. And this is a bit the spirit also of this quality internship charter. Hi. Sorry, I just recognized. But more generally, and also because I was listening to the presentation of Oliver, I'll just say a quick word also about quality jobs, because quality is not only for internships, it's also for jobs. And we believe that in this moment of crisis, and hopefully soon over the crisis, quality jobs, especially for young people, is a very overlooked issue. And it's not only about providing job for young people, any type of job, but it's jobs that would provide them with the basics rights, considering access to healthcare, considering social protection in general, or ongoing training. So that's a bit the general elements. I'm not going to stay very long afterwards because I need to go back. But I would be, and if anyone is interested to know more about what we do on quality jobs and how we have been cooperating also a lot with the trade unions on those issues, I'll be very happy to discuss it. Back to internships and apprenticeship. The internship, quality internships is basically an issue on which we started to work in 2010. 2010, we realized that was most probably the next big issue to look into, and we had the first ever survey that was done, which is now a bit outdated because unfortunately there are much more interesting data about that. But this is also explaining a bit where we are coming from and why at the moment we are a bit also front runner on this issue. Of course, internships are a valuable stepping stone for young people that wants to go from education to labor. It's a necessary element in order to gain experience, but also to apply what you learn, because it's also a bit the both sides that are necessary. Well, I don't need to tell you that it's not very much regulated in most of European countries. It is actually quite regulated in some countries, but not in all countries. We have now a lot of internship in the open market, and according to Eurobarometer, there was a Eurobarometer in 2013, only half of those internships are actually related to formal education, which means that all the other half are most probably people that are running from one internship to another internships that are completely out of education but still unable to secure a job or even a temporary work. I mean, so that's a bit the situation. The quality elements of the internship is to ensure not only that the interns get a proper remuneration, and I'll come to that, but more importantly, or as equally important, that the young person is able to develop its own skills and to ensure positive outcome for him or herself out of the internship, with an experience that then he or she is able to market to a potential next employer. Facts, okay. We have a lot of facts about interns. Half of Europe youth have completed an internship. So the majority of youth in Europe, half of them have done an internship, and most of them linked to education, but a number of them not linked to education. 35% only of interns are provided with a written contract, which of course is one of the elements that is problematic when it comes to understanding what is your role, what you're supposed to do, but most importantly, what is expected from you, and what are the boundaries within which you're supposed to work as any worker. 1/3 of the internship are paid, which is not much, especially considering that most of them are paid below the minimum wage. So we are talking more as a compensation really than a remuneration. And the majority of trainees are not offered a contract after the experience, which means that then you are back on the labor market, and no matter what have been your drive and your enthusiasm and your competence in the work you have been doing, most employers are not willing to employ because, well, this is easier to have trainees in many cases. Well, and of course, as in the labor market, there are gender differences and between men and women and how they are treated in the market. So the quality internship itself lays basic minimum criteria. And that's, I think, what is the most important element with this charter, looking at, as I was mentioning before, both the educational aspect, but also the remuneration aspects, and more generally, the rights aspect. Oliver was mentioning earlier what is happening at the European level, and I'll come back to that later, but one, I think, of the main issue is that we are talking about interns as workers, but we deny them the rights that are for workers. And this is, I think, where the whole element is and the whole challenge is. At the moment, we have a bit over 100 organizations or individuals who have been supporting the charter. We also have companies, which we believe is an important way to promote quality internships, meaning that it's not only about public legislation, but it's also about practices and how to integrate different practices in the workplace. What is quality? The quality elements are linked to three things, as I was mentioning it: the educational objectives, the contract elements, the fact that you are mentored and that you are not left on your own and that it's not expected that you know what you're supposed to do because you are actually there to learn. And that you have also some evaluation criteria. Again, as for most young people, this is the first work experience. It's essential to have evaluation criteria to understand also how you can change, you can evolve what is working well and what is not working well. In terms of rights, as I was mentioning, there is mostly all the social protections elements and the awareness of the rights. For example, I know that in our organization, in my organization, in our secretariat, we have interns. We try to provide a quality experience for them. We have lots of different interns, meaning that we have interns that are outside the formal education, and then we provide them with one quality experience. But we also have a number of interns that are coming from different education systems that have to do an internship as part of the study and part of their credits. And all of them are actually welcome in all the meetings we have when it comes to staff regulations, when it comes to information to the staff, when it comes to staff retreats, if they are in internship at that moment, that they are, to make sure that they are really part of the team and that they may not be full-time, but they are workers with maybe a different type of status and a different type of supervision and evaluation, but they are still part of the staff. And well, the remuneration is, well, I would say, if we look down to what really matters to companies and in general to policymakers, is the remuneration element. They're ready to bend on a number of the other issues, but remuneration and imposing a remuneration is always where I think we are hitting a bit of a wall. What do we do? At the moment, we are doing two main processes. I will start with the public one, what's happening at the EU level, which I think is quite relevant and quite essential also for you, and where you can play a major role at the national level. At the moment, there is a quality framework on traineeship that has been developed by the European Commission. That was part of the package at the end of 2012, the package for youth employment. One of the elements that the Commission said that they would put on the table beyond the youth guarantee and beyond the employment initiative is this framework. It took more than a year or over a year to get that framework because social partners, mostly businesses, but social partners in general, could not agree on a proposal from the Commission. And it was really difficult to get them around the table on the same document that would be acceptable for all partners. This proposal was and is actually quite good if you remove the aspect of the remuneration. And it's actually completely watered down by the member states. So the proposal was out a few months ago, and then the Council of Ministers started to work on it and to see how they would translate that in a text for themselves. And now we have this text, and it's going to be adopted either Monday or Tuesday by the Council of Ministers, and it's a very, very bad text. It's a bad text because not only it doesn't add anything to the good proposal, but it removes more or less everything that was positive, from the educational aspect to the rights aspect, and yeah, so there is not much left in this proposal. We are planning, and you can join us actually, we are planning a very strong reaction on Monday. If Uni is interested to join, we will be very happy to add you, and I can liaise maybe, because we are quite annoyed, and the interns in Brussels, I know, are maybe planning on having a demonstration or something of that kind. So this is one of the work that we do at the moment, and I think that if you would get ready to get involved at the national level to lobby your own ministries, then that would make a difference also, to have a set of proposals that would make sense. A number of countries are obviously a bit more difficult than others. I'm not going to go into the details of the 28 countries right now and where they are positioning themselves, but if you are interested to know more, we would be very happy to provide you with all those informations. Last but not least, as I was mentioning, we work with businesses. And that turns out to be actually quite productive. Our main partner at the moment is Microsoft. Microsoft Global has endorsed a charter. This is fitting very well their own internship program, internship and apprenticeship program. We have more companies coming in. Adecco is going to sign it in a couple of weeks. But most importantly, what we managed to do is to start working with much more companies and to develop with them a self-assessment questionnaire that is allowing them to understand what implication would it have for them to implement the charter in their human resources policy. And a number of companies start to realize that they are doing it already. It's nothing really, not all of them, don't get me wrong, but a number of them, and the one that are for now interested to work with us, are the ones that are already a bit more active and are obviously interested to spread that. So this is a working group that we have at the European level with a platform that is called CSR Europe that gathers most of global companies, and we hope that through those two ways of working, both the public sphere and the public policy and the private sector, we will manage to have an impact and provide in the near future quality environment for young people to make their first step in the labor market. I hope I was not too long. Thank you very much for having me, for listening, and I'll be very happy to discuss with you in the workshop to come up, and have a very good end of your seminar and a good launch of your campaign this afternoon.
So thank you, Alex. We want to give the floor to Julia. Where is Julia? There. Julia Marks from the steering group. She will be speaking a bit about privatization. So, welcome.
We will have workshops in a couple of minutes. And as we've already heard, there will be one on internships, and this workshop will have a lovely guest that you can talk with. But it's not only this workshop who is a great guest. In our workshop, the privatization workshop, we have also a really great guest, because we've been discussing when we were trying to set up the workshops, we thought, okay, which aspects of privatization do we want to talk about? And of course, the sector that is being probably most affected, or where the most things are taking place all over Europe, is the postal sector. And there are many members from postal unions in this room, and so we will talk about that. That will be part of our workshop. But as we are in Greece, and as we have our colleagues from the former Greek public broadcasting system, we thought we might do a workshop with one of our colleagues. This will be, I guess, very interesting for all of you, or for all of us. So everyone who wants to talk with, well, probably not really me, but with my colleague, come to the privatization workshop. And now I'll give the floor to my colleague, and he will tell you more. But please put on your headsets.
Just wear your headset.
He speaks Greek. Yeah? So, the floor to you.
Dear friends, dear colleagues, welcome in Greece, welcome in Athens, and thank you for choosing Athens for this workshop. Σας ευχαριστούμε πολύ για σας ευχαριστούμε που επιλέξατε την Αθήνα να έρθετε. Αγαπητοί φίλοι και αγαπητοί συνάδελφοι, θέλω να σας καλωσορίσω και εγώ στην Ελλάδα, να σας καλωσορίσω στην Αθήνα, στην πόλη που δοκιμάζεται, που βασανίζεται από κάποιες επιλογές που γίνονται σε κεντρικό επίπεδο στην Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση, αλλά είναι επιλογές που αποφασίζονται σε ένα άλλο διαφορετικό επίπεδο, που αποφασίζονται μέσα σε κλειστά γραφεία τραπεζών, μέσα σε κλειστά γραφεία μεγάλων μονοπωλιακών εταιριών. Λέγομαι Γαβρίλ Κασιμάτης, είμαι Γενικός Γραμματέας της Ομοσπονδίας Εργαζομένων στο Δημόσιο Οργανισμό Ενημέρωσης, στην Ελληνική Ραδιοφωνία Τηλεόραση, στην ΕΡΤ. Είμαι ένας από αυτούς που αγωνιζόμαστε από τον Ιούνιο του 2013 για να καταδείξουμε στον ελληνικό λαό, στον ευρωπαϊκό λαό και στην διεθνή κοινή γνώμη ότι το κλείσιμο της ΕΡΤ και η απόλυση 2.600 εργαζομένων ήταν ένα παράνομο κλείσιμο, μια αντισυνταγματική απόφαση, μια απόφαση αντίθετη από τους ευρωπαϊκούς κανονισμούς και αρχές και από τις διεθνείς κανόνες. Εδώ στην δική μας αυτή γωνιά κάποιοι εργαζόμενοι αποφάσισαν να μην ακολουθήσουν και να μην δεχτούν αυτή την απόφαση της κυβέρνησης. Είναι οι εργαζόμενοι της ΕΡΤ. Σε κάποια άλλα επίπεδα, κάποιοι άλλοι εργαζόμενοι αποφάσισαν να μην δεχτούν το κλείσιμο της υγείας, να μην δεχτούν το κλείσιμο της πρωτοβάθμιας υγείας και συνέχισαν να βρίσκονται μέσα στα ιατρεία και να παράγουν αυτό το αγαθό που πρέπει να υπάρχει για τους πολίτες. Κάποιοι άλλοι εργαζόμενοι αρνήθηκαν να σταματήσουν να προσφέρουν τις υπηρεσίες της παιδείας, το αγαθό της παιδείας στους νέους. Αυτό που πρέπει να πω και να καταλάβετε, και βεβαίως νωρίτερα ο Όλιβερ τα εξήγησε αρκετά αναλυτικά, γιατί ο Όλιβερ γνωρίζει την πραγματικότητα της Ελλάδας. Αυτό που θέλω να πω για να πρέπει να το νιώσετε και να το γνωρίζετε είναι ότι οι νέοι της Ελλάδας δεν έχουν τις ίδιες ευκαιρίες, δεν έχουν τις ίδιες δυνατότητες με τους νέους της Ευρώπης, του Ηνωμένου Βασιλείου, της Ολλανδίας, της Γαλλίας, της Γερμανίας. Έχουν πολύ διαφορετικές, πολύ περιορισμένες δυνατότητες. Δεν έχουν τα απαιτούμενα η Ελλάδα δεν διαθέτει τα απαιτούμενα κονδύλια για την εκπαίδευση. Δεν διαθέτει καν κίνητρα για δημιουργία νέων επιχειρήσεων. Δεν δίνει κίνητρα για την καινοτομία, για να μπορούν οι νέοι να εφαρμόσουν αυτά που σπούδασαν στην οικονομία και στον επαγγελματισμό τους. Είναι μια τελείως διαφορετική, ένα τελείως διαφορετικό κλίμα, μια τελείως διαφορετική κατάσταση. Αυτή τη στιγμή, όπως είπε νωρίτερα και ο Όλιβερ, στην Ελλάδα, εκτός από το 30 περίπου % ανεργίας σε γενικό επίπεδο, οι νέοι αντιμετωπίζουν μια ανεργία που πλησιάζει περίπου το 60%. Επομένως, η μοναδική επιλογή σήμερα ενός νέου επιστήμονα στη χώρα είναι η επιλογή να αφήσει τη χώρα του και να πάει σε μια άλλη χώρα, για να εργαστεί, για να έχει μέλλον. Το φαινόμενο της μετανάστευσης στην Ελλάδα το γνωρίσαμε και πριν από 40 ή 50 χρόνια. Αλλά ήταν ένα διαφορετικό φαινόμενο. Τότε μετανάστευαν οι άνεργοι εργάτες, οι άνεργοι που δεν ήταν επιστήμονες, που δεν ήταν το καθαρό παραγωγικό δυναμικό της χώρας. Σήμερα, κατά κύριο λόγο, φεύγουν από τη χώρα νέοι επιστήμονες, οι άνθρωποι του αύριο, οι άνθρωποι της προοπτικής και της ανάπτυξης της χώρας. Θέλω να πω το εξής, ότι αν οι νέοι σε μια χώρα δεν έχουν προοπτική, δεν βλέπουν ένα θετικό μέλλον, η ίδια η χώρα δεν έχει προοπτική. Γιατί κάθε χώρα, το μέλλον της και την προοπτική της, τη στηρίζει στους νέους. Αυτό είναι το κλειδί. Αυτό που συμβαίνει λοιπόν στην Ελλάδα είναι μια επιλογή, είναι κάποιες επιλογές της ελληνικής κυβέρνησης μετά από τις υποδείξεις της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης και της Κομισιόν, της Τρόικα, της Κεντρικής Ευρωπαϊκής Τράπεζας και του Διεθνούς Νομισματικού Ταμείου. Είναι επιλογές που γίνονται με κεντρικό στόχο την υπερδανειοδότηση της Ελλάδας. Με κεντρικό στόχο επίσης τη μεταφορά, την αποστέρηση βασικών αγαθών των πολιτών, την αποστέρηση των αγαθών του νερού, για παράδειγμα. Αυτή τη στιγμή συζητιέται στη χώρα, εδώ στην Αθήνα, συζητιέται να ιδιωτικοποιηθεί η δημόσια επιχείρηση διανομής και εκμετάλλευσης του νερού. Είναι μια δημόσια επιχείρηση και τώρα συζητάνε να την ιδιωτικοποιήσουν πλήρως, γιατί ένα ποσοστό έχει ήδη, ανήκει ήδη στον ιδιωτικό τομέα. Να ιδιωτικοποιήσουν την υγεία. Πριν από 20 μέρες ο Υπουργός Υγείας αποφάσισε να κλείσει όλα τα ιατρεία πρωτοβάθμιας παροχής υγείας. Αποστερούν από τον ελληνικό λαό επίσης την παιδεία. Το καλοκαίρι ο Υπουργός Παιδείας αποφάσισε να διώξει το 80% των διοικητικών και επιστημονικών υπαλλήλων των πανεπιστημίων. Αποφάσισε να απολύσει επίσης ένα μεγάλο μέρος καθηγητών και προσωπικού, βοηθητικού προσωπικού στη μέση εκπαίδευση, στα σχολεία μας. Αλλά και ό,τι δεν κλείσουν, ό,τι δεν επιλέξουν να κλείσουν, το μεταφέρουν από το δημόσιο, από τον έλεγχο του δημοσίου, το μεταφέρουν στον ιδιωτικό τομέα. Προσπαθούν δηλαδή ό,τι αναγκαίο, ό,τι απαραίτητο που έχει να κάνει με την ενέργεια, με το νερό, με την υγεία, με την παιδεία, με τον πολιτισμό αν θέλετε, με την ενημέρωση που υπηρετούμε εμείς, που έχει να κάνει με οτιδήποτε δημόσιο αγαθό, να το μεταφέρουν στην λογική του κέρδους και τη λογική της ιδιωτικής πια επένδυσης. Να πρέπει δηλαδή ο πολίτης για όλα αυτά τα δημόσια αγαθά να πληρώσει και να πληρώσει πολύ ακριβά. Και ένα παράδειγμα θα σας πω αυτή τη στιγμή είναι ότι ένα ποσοστό 20% των νοικοκυριών της Αθήνας δεν έχουν ενέργεια, δεν έχουν ηλεκτρικό ρεύμα, δεν έχουν τη δυνατότητα το βράδυ να διαβάσουν ή να θερμανθούν. Αυτό είναι ένα στοιχείο που πριν από μερικά χρόνια το γνωρίζαμε για την Καμπούλ, για το Αφγανιστάν και την Νότιο Αφρική, την Κεντρική Αφρική. Ένα στοιχείο δηλαδή καθαρά τριτοκοσμικό. Αυτό είναι ένα στοιχείο λοιπόν που αυτή τη στιγμή εμφανίζεται σε μια χώρα της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης. Εγώ δεν θέλω να επεκταθώ πάρα πολύ, διότι θέλω να δώσω το περίγραμμα του τι προσπαθούν τα μεγάλα συμφέροντα και οι χώρες ηγεμόνες της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης να κάνουν για τις υπόλοιπες χώρες και κυρίως για τις χώρες του Νότου. Να εκμεταλλευτούν δηλαδή σε όσο το δυνατόν μεγαλύτερο βαθμό, σε όσο το δυνατόν μεγαλύτερο οικονομικό επίπεδο, οτιδήποτε αναγκαίο και απαραίτητο για τη λειτουργία μιας χώρας, για την ύπαρξη και τη ζωή των πολιτών. Για την ύπαρξη και τη ζωή της ίδιας της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης. Αφού τροφοδότησαν με δεκάδες δισεκατομμύρια τις τράπεζες, οι οποίες τράπεζες τα μετέφεραν στη γερμανική εν συνεχεία τράπεζα, αφού δηλαδή πήραν δεκάδες δισεκατομμύρια ευρώ από τις τσέπες του Έλληνα φορολογούμενου για να υπάρξει αυτό που λέγανε ανακεφαλοποίηση των τραπεζών, θέλουν να αποστερήσουν ακόμα περισσότερο ό,τι περισσεύει αυτή τη στιγμή από τις τσέπες του Έλληνα πολίτη, να τα μεταφέρουν στις τράπεζες και στο μεγάλο κεφάλαιο. Αυτό δεν είναι κάτι το οποίο θα περιοριστεί στα πλαίσια μόνο της Ελλάδας ή του Νότου. Είναι κάτι που θέλουν να το επεκτείνουν σε όλο το εύρος, σε όλο το μήκος και πλάτος της Ευρωπαϊκής Ένωσης. Επομένως, αυτή η πολιτική, αυτές οι επιλογές που σε κεντρικό επίπεδο γίνονται για όλους μας, πρέπει να σταματήσουν και πρέπει να ανατραπούν. Αντιλαμβάνεστε ότι μοναδική ευκαιρία για να γίνει αυτό είναι η έκφραση του πολίτη μέσα από ένα ειρηνικό τρόπο που είναι οι εκλογές. Νομίζω ότι στην Ελλάδα ήδη έχει αυτό καταγραφεί. Αυτή η πολιτική και μέσα από τις αγωνιστικές κινητοποιήσεις που κάνουν οι Έλληνες πολίτες, αλλά κυρίως μέσα από αυτό που καταδεικνύουν καθημερινά οι δημοσκοπήσεις, έχουν αποφασίσει να αλλάξουν και να ανατρέψουν αυτή την σημερινή πολιτική. Έχουν αποφασίσει να μην δώσουν πλέον τη δυνατότητα να συνεχίζουν να τους αποστερούν τη ζωή τους και το μέλλον τους. Έχουν αποφασίσει οι Έλληνες πολίτες να σταματήσουν την υποταγή και την υποδούλωση της χώρας στην Τρόικα. Έχουν αποφασίσει ότι πια δεν μπορούν να δώσουν άλλο. Δεν υπάρχει δυνατότητα να δώσουν άλλο. Πρέπει από εδώ και πέρα να σταματήσει αυτή η κατρακύλα, να σταματήσει αυτή η λαιλασία της χώρας και να επιστρέψουμε σε μια αναπτυξιακή πορεία και πολιτική. Νομίζω ότι το ίδιο θα επιλέξουν και θα κάνουν και οι λαοί της Ευρώπης. Μόνο αν στο σύνολό της η Ευρώπη, αν στο σύνολό τους οι λαοί της Ευρώπης αποφασίσουν να πορευθούν ενωμένα, μονιασμένα, όχι για το συμφέρον των τραπεζών και των μονοπωλίων, αλλά για το συμφέρον, το προσωπικό, του ανθρώπινου δυναμικού της Ευρώπης, του λαού της Ευρώπης, των πολιτών της Ευρώπης, μόνο έτσι θα δούμε ένα διαφορετικό αύριο που δεν θα υπάρχουν αυτές οι διαγωνισμοί και οι προστριβές για τα συμφέροντα, αλλά για μια Ευρώπη ενωμένη, μια Ευρώπη για τον πολίτη, μια Ευρώπη για το δίκαιο και την ανάπτυξη. Θα σας ευχαριστήσω και πάλι. Ήθελα μόνο 2 στοιχεία να βάλω σε αυτή μου την τοποθέτηση και να τονίσω ότι ως Ομοσπονδία Εργαζομένων της ΕΡΤ, ως απολυμμένοι εργαζόμενοι, έχουμε δεχτεί πάρα πολύ και σημαντική υποστήριξη από τη UniMay και από τη UniGlobal, στον οποίο είμαστε μέλος ως Ομοσπονδία και που συνεχώς, σταθερά, εδώ και χρόνια και ειδικά σε αυτό το μεγάλο πρόβλημα που αντιμετωπίζουμε σήμερα, η UniMay μας έχει στηρίξει δυναμικά και ο Γενικός Γραμματέας, ο Phil Jennings και άλλοι συνάδελφοι που βρίσκονται στο Διοικητικό Συμβούλιο έχουν δώσει έμπρακτα και ουσιαστικά την συμπαράστασή τους, την υποστήριξή τους και την αλληλεγγύη τους στο δικό μας τον αγώνα, αλλά και στον αγώνα συνολικά του ελληνικού λαού. Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ.
So thank you, Gabriel. And of course, we will keep on supporting you in your fight here against privatization and austerity and youth unemployment. And we're very happy to be here, of course, in Athens and to have you and your colleagues with us in our seminar. You will also be in the workshop about privatization. So the people who would like to keep on speaking with you, they will go to that seminar, of course, that workshop. So we are now splitting up in workshops. So we are going to have one workshop in here. It will be the one about internships. And we will have the other one about privatization on the 10th floor. So the people who choose the privatization workshop should now go to the 10th floor. And we will meet here again in 1 hour and 15 minutes. So you will have to work very fast. So, yeah.